How's it going, folks? This is Gray 1951. I'm here to do a video talking about my top five favorite actors and top five favorite actresses past 1960. My friend Forkerball did one of these videos, and I think some of the other folks are going to do them too. So I wanted to get this in. All right, this is, let's see, I'll start with the actors. And not very good. Well, with five people, it's a little bit easier to do a rating from top to bottom or bottom to top, whatever. But these are all number ones to me. But I'm going to start with three actors who have been around for quite a while, and number five would be Robert Duvall. I think he's a very well liked actor. If you look, I haven't seen a lot of his performances, but if you look at his work in Tender Mercies, which was absolutely amazing, and then if you look at his work in The Apostle, which is kind of a small case release of a film, which I never saw until recently. I saw it in one of my film classes, and I just thought I was blown away by it. Not only did he act in it, but he directed, he produced, I think he wrote it as well, and it was a hell of a performance. So, yeah, Robert Duvall is one of our best actors now. Coming up behind him, I would say Dustin Hoffman. I think that's somebody that everybody pretty much likes. He started out, I think he did a couple of films, very small parts, before he did The Graduate back in 1967 or 68, one of the two. And it was a good performance in a very good film, very popular film. He was kind of a dry comedian throughout the whole thing in a way. But then he did, in 1969, he did Midnight Cowboy, a completely different kind of role. And it was just like, is this the same guy? It's not possible, But he was fantastic, and he's gone on all through the decades doing one good film after another. He did Tootsie, he did Rain Man, and very recently he did a couple of films I like. He's kind of doing more supporting roles in films. He did a terrific supporting role in a film called Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell, Emma Thompson, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and he was fantastic. That's another film I saw in one of my film classes, but I had seen it before. And he was also very good in a romantic comedy with Emma Thompson called, was it Last Chance Harry? Last Chance something, about two people a little bit advanced in age who were kind of beaten up by life, and they found love with each other, and it was very good. So I like Dustin Hoffman quite a bit. And a couple of younger actors that I like. Well, I guess they're not young in age anymore, but they're certainly, I consider them younger because they haven't been around as long as, Robert Duvall and Dustin Hoffman. I'm a big fan of Matt Dillon, and even though there's still a lot of his films I have not seen, he was good as a teenager. He had that rebellious kid thing going on. He did it very well, and he has gotten much better as he gets older. If you look at his work in Crash, which was an amazing film, I mean, he was just fantastic in that film. And recently I saw something that I picked up at Big Lots for a few bucks and didn't know anything about it. A movie called A Kiss Before Dying, where he co-starred with Sean Young. That was a very good performance. And yeah, I would like to see a lot more of Matt Dillon's work. He is one of these guys. He gets better looking as he gets older too. He's a hell of an actor. And another one who's kind of like Matt Dillon is Sean Penn, who I think he's never given a bad performance. I haven't seen everything that he's done, but I'm trying to kind of play catch up now with Sean Penn. I think his first film, at least the first one he got noticed for, was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which was a comedy performance, and he was fantastic. And then he started doing all this drama, and again, as he showed his versatility very quickly. And I loved him in films like Mystic River, which was an amazing film and very difficult to watch because it's a heartbreaker. Also, 21 Grams, he was very good in that. And let's see, what else have I seen him recently? Trying to think. I'm drawing a blank with all these names of films. Sorry about that, but yeah, Sean Penn is a very good actor. So my number one for the actor of since 1960, for me, it would have to be Robert De Niro, just based on his versatility, his range, the different kinds of things he's done, and the bravery he's shown in being an actor. I mean, look what he did to himself physically in order to make Raging Bull. I mean, if it had been me, I would have said, put the fat makeup on me, give me some padding. But no, he did all of that to himself, which to me is just crazy. And then look what he did in Taxi Driver, a totally different kind of role. I thought he was very underrated in an underrated film called New York, New York, directed by Martin Scorsese, co-starring Liza Minnelli. He was very, very good at that. He's done some good latter day performances too. He's broadened his range a little bit. He seems to have relaxed a little bit in his older age. And he's not quite as intense as he used to be. He's doing some comedy, and he's very good at it. I saw his most recent film, which is The Intern, with Anne Hathaway, and it wasn't bad. It was enjoyable to watch. It was kind of like something you might find on TV on the Hallmark Channel. And he seemed very kind of muted and not terribly emotive or expressive. And I don't know. I don't really care. Well, even when he's doing that and he's not putting a lot into it, it's still a good performance. I guess because he's just that good. But I guess I like him better when he's just sort of letting everything loose. Okay. So anyway, those are my top 5 actors. As far as the actresses go, well, I'm gonna talk about my number one first because I've talked about her many, many times before. And if anybody's ever watched any of my videos, you know that I've talked about Barbara Steele endlessly. A wonderful English actress who made her debut. Well, no, she didn't make her debut in 1960s Black Sunday, the horror film, but she made her first noticeable starring role. And because she actually started out in the late 1950s in English films. And then she went to Italy, did Black Sunday, and then her career took off. She spent most of the decade of the 60s working in Italy and France and later in Germany. She speaks several languages. She's worked for great directors like Federico Fellini, Volker Schlondorf, Jonathan Demme, David Cronenberg, a very, very good and accomplished actress, and later on made her mark as a producer as well. So she will always be my number one ever since 1960, okay? But some other actresses that I really love, one is Gena Rowlands, who was married to John Cassavetes and worked in many, many of his films that he directed and also acted in as well. And she is a phenomenal actress with a great range, and she is very brave. She's a very physical actress. If you see what she did in A Woman Under the Influence, it wasn't just a cerebral performance. It was a very physical and must have been a very physically draining performance, the way she used her body. And she is an excellent actress. And most of her good work was done in Cassavetes films like Minnie and Moskowitz and Opening Night. That's another one I really love. Love Streams, where she not only was directed by John Cassavetes, but they acted opposite each other. That was a very, very dramatic and heartbreaking film to watch. But she also worked for other directors too. Later on, she worked for Woody Allen in one of his best dramatic films called Another Woman, a completely different kind of role than she had done before. And later on, she did a fantastic television movie co-starring Bette Davis. It was called Strangers, the story of a mother and a daughter. And it was fantastic. And I don't know. She's up in years now. She doesn't work as much as she did, but she recently won an honorary Academy Award, which was very deserving. She's been nominated at least twice, I think, for her acting roles. Okay, another actress I like very much is Naomi Watts, and I've loved her ever since I saw her in. I'm drawing a big blank here. Mulholland Drive, one of my favorite thrillers of all time. She was so wonderful, and I liked her in 21 Grams. Interesting, she worked opposite Sean Penn because I think she looks like Madonna. You know, if Madonna could act, she would be Naomi Watts. But Naomi Watts was also very good in The Ring. And, well, something else I saw her in the remake of The Painted Veil. She was wonderful in that. And another film I liked called Stay, opposite Ryan Gosling. And, yeah, she's one of our best actresses of today. I also like, let's see, Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson is one of my favorite actresses on the screen. She is so talented. She has that dignified voice and that manner about her. She is perfect for Shakespeare, but she has also proven herself able to do contemporary roles like Love Actually, um, Stranger Than Fiction that I mentioned before, working with Dustin Hoffman in that film, Last Chance Henry or Harry, one of the two. I don't know, but yeah, she was absolutely she's perfect for the Shakespeare role she did, and also the what was it? Sense and Sensibility, the Jane Austen film, and she's done many things besides that. So I really love her. Let's see, another actress that I love. I'm going to name two more. One is an Italian actress named Monica Vitti, who did most of her work back in the 60s. And I haven't seen that much of her work, but I'm mentioning her because she made three films for director Michelangelo Antonioni. One was La Ventura in 1960, and then the following year, La Notte, and then in 1962 she did Le Clisse, the trilogy of films that Antonioni made, talking about alienation in modern Italian society. And she was the focus of all three of those films, and she was wonderful, very different in each one. And she's one of the most she's a very beautiful woman, but she's also very emotional, and I don't know how to describe it. Just a very very emotional actress, and she's very impressive. So if you haven't seen any of those films by Antonioni, you really should. Okay, another actress I'd like to mention, it's kind of a special mention, would be Mia Farrow, who of course did a lot of work for Woody Allen in the 80s and up into the 90s when they were partnered in their romantic life as well as professional life. She had started out in the late 60s and had kind of a slow start, and then she made a big splash in Rosemary's Baby. Well, she did some television first. She was on this TV soap opera called Peyton Place, and that's when I've never seen her in that, but that's when people started to notice her. And known as much for her beauty and her crazy lifestyle as she was for being an actress. But in Rosemary's Baby, she actually proved herself to be very, very good. Then she kind of went into a slow period after that for a long time. And it wasn't until she hooked up with Woody Allen that he was able to bring out the talent that was innate in her. And if you ever see her work in films like The Purple Rose of Cairo, and especially Hannah and her sisters, they are just amazing performances. And of course, the two of them, their lives got crazy and they broke up. And she hasn't done a lot of work post Woody Allen, but one thing that she did, I can't remember exactly what year it was. It had to be the late 80s or maybe around 1990. She did a film called Widow's Peak, which is probably one of the best things that she's ever done. And it was an amazing film, and she was very, very good at it. So, okay, that's my video for my top 5 actresses and actors post 1960. So if you have anything you'd like to say, I'll listen.